Welcome to the deep dive, everyone. Ready to dive into something incredible today? We're stepping into a knowledge workshop, but not just any workshop. Think like straight out of science fiction. We're talking gleaming tools, digital displays, that futuristic hum of information, and the crown jewel right at the center, a holographic knowledge graph.
Okay, you definitely have my attention. Holographic knowledge graph, that's not something you hear every day. What exactly are we talking about here?
Okay, so picture this. A 3D web of information, but instead of lines on a screen, it's all points of light, glowing, pulsing, connecting. Each point is a concept, and get this, those connections, the relationships between them, they're these glowing lines constantly shifting, showing you how it all fits together.
Okay, so light years beyond your basic Google search, got it. But you said interactive. What makes this holographic knowledge graph so different?
So let's say you're exploring, I don't know, the history of renewable energy. Pull up solar power on this thing and boom, it's not just a list of facts. You're seeing all these interconnected points light up government policies, tech advances, even public opinion trends over time. And it's all visually mapped out right there in front of you.
Instead of just reading about all those things separately, you see how they all influence each other.
Yeah,
Like you're actually inside the information, not just looking at it through a keyhole.
you got it. And it's more than just watching a light show. Our sources describe these digital prompts that pop up as you interact with the graph, guiding you even deeper. Like, say you're curious about how solar panel efficiency impacts adoption rates. The graph could actually challenge you to analyze historical data, maybe even run simulations, see how those factors line up.
Hold on, so it's like having a conversation with the information. The system is giving you feedback, pushing you to think critically, maybe even uncover those aha moments you wouldn't stumble across otherwise.
Exactly. And all this is happening in a dedicated workshop environment. Our excerpts describe this really interesting blend of high-tech and old-school, traditional tools, books even, right alongside those digital displays, like a fusion of the best of both worlds.
That's what grabs me, that fusion. It's not just about having tons of info, but having the right tools, the right environment to actually wrap your head around it.
And get this, it seems like you can actually download the knowledge graph, take all those connections and insights with you beyond the workshop walls.
Now that's where things get really interesting. You're talking about portable knowledge. Imagine downloading that renewable energy model you just built, taking it with you, maybe plugging it into other data sets, analytical tools. Who knows what you might uncover?
Okay, mind blown. We started with a cool visual, but this is next level stuff. You're talking about changing how we think about research, education, even just how we learn. But before we go too far,
We should probably dig into those tasks mentioned in the excerpts. What are you actually doing in this workshop?
you read my mind. We've got this amazing space, this mind-blowing knowledge graph. But what's the actual experience like? Let's unpack that after a quick break.
So those tasks sounds like they're designed to be just as dynamic as the knowledge graph itself, not just watching paint dry here.
Definitely not. More like active engagement, right? What does that actually look like in this workshop?
Okay, so say you're following a thread in the knowledge graph, something that really piques your interest, like, I don't know, the economic impact of a particular renewable energy policy.
Yeah.
The system, using those digital prompts we talked about, could actually challenge you to build out a simple model, project the potential outcomes of that policy.
Well, wait. So you're not just passively absorbing information, you're taking the raw data, the connections you've made, and actually putting them to the test.
Exactly. And it's not like you're just thrown to the wolves either. Remember those feedback loops. As you're working, the graph might highlight additional factors you haven't considered, or even suggest different modeling techniques based on what you're doing.
Hold on. It's like having a personalized tutor built into the system, guiding you through complex analysis in real time. No more hitting those research dead ends.
Now you're getting it. And here's where that whole exporting the knowledge graph thing gets really wild.
Oh, right. Right. Taking your work beyond the workshop.
Yeah.
How does that tie into these tasks, though?
Okay, picture this. You've just completed a task, and you've uncovered something really insightful, like a surprising correlation between energy policy and social equity, something like that. You can then export that, but not just the raw data, your whole process, your methodology, even the feedback you received along the way.
Wait, so other researchers could see your entire journey of discovery, not just the destination? That's insane. Talk about next-level collaboration.
Right. Total game changer for transparency, reproducibility, things that can be a real pain in traditional research.
Okay, I'm seeing the bigger picture here. This isn't just some high-tech playground for data geeks. It's a whole new paradigm for learning, researching, sharing knowledge. But we've talked a lot about digital displays and data. What about the human element in all of this?
Ah, you're right to ask, and it seems like the designers of this workshop were thinking along those same lines. While our sources are a bit tight-lipped on the specifics, they do emphasize those more traditional learning tools being present in the space.
You mean like actual books in this futuristic knowledge haven? I don't know why, but that's kind of reassuring.
Reassuring, right? It's like this understanding that even with all the shiny tech, that connection to time-tested methods, quiet contemplation, it still matters.
Striking that balance, huh? Cutting edge innovation, but with a nod to those timeless values. But let's be real, the star of the show here is that holographic knowledge graph. I'd spend hours getting lost in that thing.
And speaking of getting lost, our sources make a point of highlighting just how visually stunning this knowledge graph is supposed to be.
Oh, right. It's not just functional, it's a work of art too. Give me the visual details. Oh, right. It's not just functional, it's a work of art too. Give me the visual details.
Our sources describe it as like this living, breathing thing. Picture this, a constellation of lights, each one a concept, but they're shifting, changing in real time as you interact with the information.
Whoa, well, hold on. So not just a static 3D image, it's actually responding to you, to your queries.
Exactly. And those connections between concepts, those glowing lines we talked about, they pulse, brighten, dim, all based on the strength of the relationships. Like you're watching the flow of knowledge unfold.
Okay, that's just cool. Imagine exploring complex topics like that. So much more intuitive, engaging than staring at a spreadsheet or something.
Right. It really drives home this idea of learning as an experience, not just processing data.
Right.
And it's not just about pretty lights either. There's real science behind this.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
Well, there's a growing body of research suggesting that our brains are actually wired for visual learning. We process information way more effectively when it's presented spatially, like with this graph.
So this holographic knowledge graph, it could be tapping into that part of our brains, making it easier to see those connections, those patterns. Man, this whole workshop is feeling less like sci-fi and more like the future of education.
Absolutely. And think about the implications beyond a school setting. Businesses using this tech for data analysis, strategic planning, fostering innovation.
Oh, totally. Marketing teams mapping customer journeys, engineers visualizing complex systems, even artists finding inspiration in those unexpected connections. The possibilities are kind of endless.
That's what I love about this deep dive, right? We started with this simple workshop and suddenly, bam, we're talking about the future of knowledge itself.
Just like that holographic graph, what seems like a single point of light, zoom out, and there's a whole universe of connections possibilities.
And like we've been saying, those possibilities, they extend beyond the workshop. Being able to export that knowledge, share it, collaborate, that's huge.
It's like democratizing knowledge, empowering everyone to shape the future. And who knows, maybe one day these workshops won't be sci-fi, they'll be in our homes, schools, everywhere.
Wouldn't that be something? Learning that's accessible, engaging, personalized.
It's a future I want to be a part of. But for now, we're at the end of our deep dive. The exploration doesn't have to end here, though. What will you discover when you unlock the power of the knowledge graph?
Until next time, stay curious, keep asking questions.
And keep diving deep.